Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to take you on a journey throughout this video using opacity, which is something you've seen in a lot of my videos. But on this one, I'm going to take you from start to finish as I work through and leave kind of a ghostly presence of the trees that will eventually be in this landscape. Right now, I'm just covering the page with acrylic paint and just a very rough sketch to get me started. You can see I put down some pretty quick colors, and I'm constantly trying to smooth this out with water, so it's a very watery acrylic. Some people may see this as a watercolor, but it is actually as acrylic paint, and I've just really thinned it down. Painting is a great way to unplug. Life is pretty stressful these days. I think a lot of people get hung up watching the media and a lot of things, a lot of distraction around us. When you go into painting time, I definitely feel a release of the stress, and it's something that I look forward to every day, to come into the studio to kind of block out all the noise. There's so much noise in the world today. Okay, I've got a pretty rough sky up there, and I'm pretty satisfied with where it's at right now. Now I'm going to begin bringing the middle ground in, which will lead me down to the foreground as I work forward. There's a drip running down the page right now. Don't worry about that sort of thing. If you work quickly, you can bring the water in and clear that up. And I just smooth it out into the rest of the composition. This is a snowscape I'm working on. Right now today it's about 0 outside. The wind chill is very cold. So it's a great day to stay inside, do some painting, have some coffee, listen to music, and make the video I'm making right now. I always enjoy making the videos. It kind of records my daily life. And I'm working on a landscape very close to my home. I take various photographs throughout the year, and sometimes it may take a year till I go back to them. I piece them together, and it's a pretty realistic view of my experience at that time. Some of you may ask, how much are the photos as far as reference goes? And it's pretty minimal. I basically look at some images I have. I'll make some sketches sometimes, or directly paint on the paper like I'm doing now, but eventually the photos will fall away, and I kind of go with an intuitive approach at that point, where I start to bring in things. And even right now I'm starting with the tree line way back in the distance. I've got the snow on the bottom, but I know there's a tree line back there, but I'm not really looking at it. I know what tree lines look like after having made thousands of landscapes over the years. I think everyone should try to find practices that slow them down. Making art definitely takes me into a different realm, and I hope it does that for you as well. It gives you time to ponder, to think, and just takes you out of the constant noise like I talked about before, and can really, I think it's definitely great for mental health. What does making art do for you? If you can, please leave a comment in the bottom. I love to discuss this with all of you. It's something I think about a lot. Like I've said in previous videos, I work with kids, and it's amazing how teens can become so concentrated when they paint. that more than anything else. Painting, for whatever reason, often silences people, and people get into it. And I found that time and time again, as opposed to other forms of creation. I like winter. I know a lot of people don't. I didn't when I was younger. I've come to like it more as I've gotten older. It definitely gives a time of silence that, a lot of times people can't interrupt you. You may have a snowstorm going on, and you can have an endless day or two or three where you can really get into what you're doing. Right now I'm bringing in some parts of the field, perhaps remnants of dirt or corn. A lot of times when it snows, certain parts will melt and you'll see these little dots across the field, and here they are right now as I kind of sped up the video. Right here I'm adding the sun. This time of year in Indiana, the sun is pretty much close to the horizon. It doesn't go that far up in the sky. So I'm bringing it over here to the left-hand side to give some asymmetrical balance. I'm going to put the sun on this side. You'll see trees come over towards the right center as we go. That's something I think about as well. How am I going to set up my image in a compositional way? And that's what I'm trying to start to try right now. Whenever I paint snow, I always think about back to the times where I've been in blizzards, where I've missed, a couple of weeks of school when I was younger in middle school, or even a few years ago, we had a large snowstorm right after Christmas break, and our school shut down for 2 weeks. So altogether, it was a month out, and that was a wonderful time to be able to go in the studio and be able to work endlessly for quite some time. So despite all the cold weather and harsh elements, winter can yield some really wonderful things. I do love to work outside, and I will go outside sometimes when it's maybe in the 30s and 40s. But here you see me starting to bring in the trees, and I'm bringing it in with just chalk, and I'm just bringing in the outline to begin. Chalk really works well with water media. These are Rembrandt chalk pastels I'm working with right now. Okay, I'm going to begin shading some of this, and I'm just kind of scribbling onto the surface of where the tree is. I've got the contour drawing of the tree, but right now I'm just kind of going up the sides, maybe going a little bit in the middle. And I'm going to eventually blend this out, and I just use my fingers to start this. We'll skip ahead just a little bit here. You can see I blended more of it out. Now I'm bringing in some other colors. I started with kind of a purplish color, and now I'm going with some lighter blue. And the chalk mixes very well, blends very well. Sometimes I use a paper stump, but mainly I'm using my fingers on this. By using my fingers, I can let the transparency come through. I want the landscape behind to still kind of come through the trees. And once again, I think by having opacity, it kind of gives a timeless element. And that's why I have this in a lot of my drawings and paintings. I've been to a lot of places, experienced a lot of things, and I feel like all of it kind of blends together. So that whole idea of opacity is like time shining through no matter what I do. And here I am bringing some limbs in, and once again I've gone back to the dark purple pastel, and I'm just going to bring some of those thin lines in that kind of gives the illusion of the limbs that are coming from the top of the tree. Back to the paintbrush. Here I am bringing some white in to get some of the highlight of the snow in the field, and I'm just painting directly onto the landscape I made earlier, going around the different clumps in the field. To complete the illusion of the opacity, I'm even bringing snow and white into the actual tree so you can kind of see the transparency of it. I'm going to add a little bit of oil pastel now, and I'm going into the sun around it and just bringing dots and squiggles and lines in there to show the sunset and how the light is really bringing a brilliant orange against the blue and purples. I'm definitely seeking a complementary color pattern here, and I'm going to continue on down the tree line with some of these small dots of oranges and yellows. I love tinkering with the line. I'm obsessed with mark making. I stress it to my students all the time. They will tell you that. But this is the intuitive part I really enjoy. It really starts to become a design as much as a realistic piece of work or representational piece of work. And this is the abstract quality, but at the same time a design quality to it. And here I am going back into the lines of the trees, trying to solidify some of the intensity I may have lost in the blending. I don't want to lose the opacity though. Okay, now I'm going to move just a little bit closer so you can see some of the details I've brought back in there. And you can see some of the oil pastel I put back in the sky there, but also some of the brush strokes of the ground. Here's a house I'm going to start to gently sketch in back to the chalk pastel, and I'm just going to do once again a contour drawing without any shading to start of the house I'm bringing in. And this was taken from something very close to the landscape I made this at. They're not completely together in terms of being together in the photograph, but I've often used different photos to piece something together. Okay, jumping ahead just a little bit, I've shaded this out with my fingers again, and I'm bringing a shadow against the structure. That shadow would be there since the light is behind the structure. So I'm going to use my fingers to blend that out. I lost some of the blue from the trees, just a little bit in that, so I'm going to go back in with the blue, kind of lightly touch that brown because I'm trying to once again create that optical illusion of transparency of the tree on top, but yet the house coming through, being able to see through it. Here's another close-up. I'm bringing in some acrylic marker now, and I'm just bringing in some details on the snow. Once again, mark making to kind of bring a design almost of the mark making, and also going in the trees. Here's some mark making back with the sun again, and by pulling in close you can see these marks. Back to the Opacity, I even put some of the marks into the blue tree to once again try to get that transparency working even up in the skyline. And here we have the final version. Thanks for watching today, everyone. If you like the video, please like it, subscribe, and I'd love to hear from you in the commentary. Have a great day, everyone. I will see you next time.